would you like to just go right into it?
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so the intro to the episode is I'm gonna say, "Hi, welcome to This Pokemon Going to Die." Not a threat. And you say, "Not a fact."
Not a fact.
Are you
Not
ready?
a fact. Just a fact.
Exactly. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Lonnie is drowning in the fountain while the wolves prepare off in the surrounding mountains. And this hum in the air and this death in the room, it will pick us apart if we don't leave here soon. These liars, killers, and evil men have collected the land and are in power again. You can hide under a rock or you can turn yourself in, but they are ruthless, hungry, and in power again.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Henry Kissinger is Pokemon Going to Die? Not a threat.
Not a fact.
No, it is a fact.
It is a fact.
It's a fact.
So
Would you like to try again? Hello, and welcome to Henry Kissinger is Pokemon Going to Die? Not a threat.
just a fact.
Yeah, all right. Henry Kissinger's
Good
Pokemon
evening,
Going
everyone.
to Die, the only podcast. My name is Val Flight Cub, aka Anus Johnson. And with me today I have a bonus Johnson.
Matt Mullet Bill, also known as Penis Johnson.
Hey! Welcome to the
Hope you're all
show.
well. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Our Scottish correspondent.
I'm reporting in from Glasgow.
Oh, I forgot to say that I was the Prime Minister of the Poo-United Kingdom.
I didn't have one. I didn't have one lined up for Penis Johnson,
Yeah.
United Kingdom. Maybe just I'm from Penis Johnson's United Kingdom. I'm the Prime Minister. That works for me, actually. And I am the Prime Minister, so.
You are?
Yeah, sure. Let's say I am. I'm the Scottish Prime Minister, and that's why I'm on the podcast today, because my finger on the pulse.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've never been, so I can't dispute it. And you sound like
Yeah.
you are a Prime Minister.
I am a Prime Minister. There's so many things that qualify me for the job, but the number one thing is how much I'm lying. You know?
There you go.
Which is, the order of the day, really.
So there's a lot of news that has happened. A lot to get into. Let's just start with it. Old Trump tweeted a couple days ago that he does not like Fox News anymore because they had a segment that was not as nice to him as they could have been. So he's looking for a new network. And he said it like that in his tweet. He was like, "We're going to look for a new network now." New network for what? What were you doing with Fox News, Donnie?
The new intelligence network, presumably, or it's just amazing,
Yeah.
really.
He can just say things. He can just say whatever he wants, and nothing happens ever.
I mean, what other network does he have? Like, can he? Who's he trying to reel in? Is he like? It's
Yeah, like he's like, I'm
He's
on
only-
the market for a new network. The Blaze.
There's only Fox.
Yeah.
There's only Fox for Donald.
Now, speaking of Donald, and things that he has said, Bloomberg published a quiz yesterday. Who said it, Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Would you like to take this quiz with me?
Sure.
Joey
I'd love
B or
to.
Donnie T? Let's see. All right. Want to get into watches but are on a tight budget? Here's a great list of affordable watches that are under $10,000. Nope. Okay. That was the wrong Bloomberg article. That is a tab that I had open for my own personal reference. I'm trying to cut down on my spending. Anyway, on to the quiz. All right. Here's the first one. Just as a content aware warning, not really warning, just these two men say horrible things, so just be prepared for words that are stupid and bad. All right. I stopped in Singapore to meet with a guy named Lee Kuan Yew, who most foreign policy experts around the world say is the wisest man in the Orient. Who said it, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
That's one hundo, Joe Biden.
Yes, it is. Yes. And apparently this was
Strong start.
this was during a Get Out the Vote rally in Iowa 2014. Just hours earlier, he had apologized for using the term Shylocks to describe unscrupulous lenders in a previous speech.
Joe, no.
So great.
Joe, stop.
Okay. Who compared his IQ and said that it would be higher than the person talking to him, interviewing him? Was that Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
Oh, that's tricky. It's pretty obviously Trump, but like you just, I'm gonna go Joe.
You are twice correct because it was both of them.
Oh,
they have both said things like that. Yes. All right. Next one. I'm not sorry for anything that I have ever done. I have never been disrespectful intentionally to a man or a woman.
That's Donald.
That is Joe Biden.
Oh man.
Yes.
It's like he's like running around the country like grabbing people and telling them, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm not sorry.
You can't believe me.
For anything. All right. Little schoolyard story. I punched my music teacher because I didn't think he knew anything about music, and I almost got expelled. I'm not proud of that, but it's clear evidence that even early on I had a tendency to stand up and make my opinions known in a very forceful way.
That's Donald Trump.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay.
I wouldn't put it past Joe to also brag about punching someone as a child, though.
Yeah, but that one sounds like a lie. Like, that sounds like just complete nonsense. Like, yeah, no, I was running into some problems with my music teacher in school, so I did a backflip and I kicked him in the neck. From Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm. This was after school got out, though, so no one saw it. So you can't verify it. All right. What I'm trying to do is go around from town to town, and I'm drawing as big of crowds, bigger than anybody. Have you seen anybody draw bigger crowds than me here in this state? It's packed outside, as you'll be able to see, but they've never seen crowds like this over here.
That's definitely Donald.
That one was a little trick question from me. That's actually Biden and then Trump. Can you even guess where they got seamed together there?
Read it out again, and I'll try and figure it out. I think the second half's Biden.
Oh, no.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Trump was the one who said it's packed outside, as you'll be able to see, but they've never seen crowds like this over here.
Yeah, that sounds like that, man.
Yeah. All right. 2 more. All right. We will come up with the cures to many, many problems, to many, many diseases, including cancer.
Oh, that's Donald. I heard him saying that.
Correct. Yes, I
was there in person.
You're a well-traveled man.
Prime Minister, after all.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that was Trump. Biden has said nothing of the sort. What Biden said was, I promise you, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes America. We're going to cure cancer. So that's totally, he's a completely different man.
Yeah. God.
And then, all right, this last one. I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. That's another trick question. That one is Dr. Evil from Austin Powers. Trying to pull one over on you.
Could be Big Joe.
It could. We don't know what kind of ideas he has.
He really is like such a beautiful sort of epitome of what, I don't know, the sort of the majority of the center think we need to solve Donald Trump is like another like idiot ideologue. What
we really need to do to get rid of Donald Trump is to get another one.
Well, you cut out a little bit there.
Oh, I was just saying the thing that we need to solve the Trump problem is to get another Trump who is slightly different.
Yeah.
It's like there's an episode of Community where Troy is like, how do you get Gatorade stains out of clothes? And don't say the opposite color Gatorade because we tried that and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is just opposite color.
Opposite color Gatorade.
Yes.
That's your legacy, Joe.
He wishes. All right. Well, that's enough about America. Matt, how's Brexit doing? How's it going over there? Is it good or great? What do you think?
Everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be saying to us, yeah. Oh. No, right. So the Queen approved Boris Johnson's request to prorogue Parliament, which basically means that I've got a handy BBC article here that sort of roughly defines what proroguement is. Basically, the current session of Parliament is going to be suspended in kind of early September, which will allow Boris Johnson to deliver the no-deal Brexit. So no-deal Brexit is just going to be a complete disaster. So there's going to be like... Go on, sorry.
Sorry. So the Brexit deadline is Halloween, right? It's October 31st. Yeah. And so the proroguing is basically from the middle of September till the middle of October. Parliament isn't going to be in session, is my understanding?
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, the kind of pundits are playing it down a little bit to be like, oh, it's just, it's just like a holiday. It's just like a few weeks off,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a slight problem.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the kind of obvious fact that it makes it kind of easier to deliver a no-deal Brexit, that like it's having knock-on effects with like devolved governments, so the Welsh, Scottish and Northern Irish governments the Northern Irish government isn't in session and hasn't been for like over a year now, which is a whole separate thing. But, there's like stuff like the Welsh budget needs agreed and they can't do anything about it. Like they can't agree like a longer term one, which would help reduce like the massive sprawling cuts that the Tories have been doing. So it's not even, well, I mean, it's incredibly disruptive and undemocratic that it's happening for the Brexit vote, but it's also going to have a like completely destructive effect on anything that people can sort of legislate for post Brexit, if there's going to be anything.
Oh, right.
If there's going to be a country left, basically.
So basically, like any of the preparations that you might need to do, they can't do because they're going to be
exactly. And like, so there's like a few days now till the deadline, and there's a few legal cases that are sort of being drawn up. But it kind of all feels very sort of symbolic and very like #FBPE, which is what kind of all the centre Remainers have on their Twitter bios.
What does that stand for?
I actually don't know. I've been like dreading looking it up because, to be honest, it's the Florida Board of Professional Engineers. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, well,
burn.
Keep to your own. Florida, deal with your problems before you try to interfere in our Brexit stuff, okay?
They're very...
Follow back pro-EU. Of course it is. Follow back pro-EU. Brilliant.
Okay. So the E stands for E.
Yeah. The E stands for E in E-Union. The E-Union, which is, of course, what we're trying to disband or whatever. I mean, it's great. It's great from a Scottish standpoint in the respect that, like, we're getting independence now. It's kind of not even up for question. I think, like, there's an independence referendum due late 2020.
And there's no way Scotland is going to be like, no, this has been good.
No, this is fine. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think it's basically been so sort of trundling grimly towards this for the past like 12 months. It's just sort of felt like bluffs and double bluffs and sort of buying themselves time just until they can get to the point where they can do this.
Yeah.
And like the leadership stuff has all kind of gotten in the way of it. And then, there's been like the council elections were in the middle of the year, and they took up a big portion of the media, and there was so much made of the Brexit Party, which is exactly what UKIP did a few years ago during the election. Was they basically stirred up a racket and distracted from like the Tories like damaging policies that they were mandating on, and like it's all happened before basically, but this time it's like there's no public vote at the end of all this. It's happening now. Like, it's happened with the independence referendum and all general election. One thing that's quite interesting to me, though, is that there's not a lot of discussion, but discussion seems to be going towards the way of general strike. So that would be quite interesting. And I looked it up. The last two general strikes in the UK both resulted in landslide swings in the election. So there's the largest swing since the 1945 election, after the 1979 general strike.
Wow. Or
maybe the strike was in a previous year. But anyway, yeah. And then there was another one in 1925, which was a swing towards Labour. So it kind of, I think if we go to a general strike, great. But I kind of feel like the appetite for those sort of things is just going and going and going in the UK. And actually the UK probably has a decent enough history of general strikes and things like that having a decent impact, which is a bit of a bummer. But yeah, the Scottish Conservative leader resigned, wasn't available for comment on the day of the announcement. And obviously you could dig up tweets from Sajid Javid, who's the Home Secretary, I think. He said, "Oh, you couldn't prorogue Parliament just to do Brexit like 2 years ago," and obviously now is sitting on Boris Johnson's cabinet.
He's like, I got this great idea.
Yeah. He is the Chancellor, sorry. But yeah, there's, Ruth Davidson was quite vocal about sort of Brexit being, or rather Scotland being in the EU as a huge argument against Scottish independence, and now we're leaving the EU with no deal, and she's resigned. So,
well, bye.
Yeah, bye. I'm not. She's got great form for posing in an army tank, and I'm kind of doing a thing on Twitter where I'm trying to see if she'll drive to my house in the army tank. I'm sort of trying to call her out and see if she'll respond. Are
you just trying to annoy her as much as possible?
Yeah. There's loads of campaign photos of her like sitting on the top of the tank with her like elbow on it, sort of casually, as you might sit in a tank casually.
Right. Wait, is she in the tank? I'm picturing that she's popping up out of the tank. The little hole at the top.
Let's see. In my head, she's like lounging on it nearly, but maybe that's like a sort of imaginative...
like on a piano, like a singer in the bar or something.
Oh no, she's actually sitting on the cannon. Like she's straddling the cannon.
Okay. No comment.
Yeah. That's all you got to say. And it's got a UK flag on it, which is it's really cool, actually. What an image.
Yeah.
We'll miss you, Ruth.
Well, so basically, this proroguing is just running out the clock.
It's just running down the clock, and Boris Johnson said we're negotiating with our friends. So no one. All this time, he's sort of saying that the reason we're proroguing Parliament is to really hash this out. Like, we've not been trying and trying and trying for the past 2 years, and they've been like, no, you're going to have to come back with a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
And they just keep failing. And then today he said, the weird thing is, the more parliamentarians try to block the no-deal Brexit, the more likely it is that we'll end up in that situation, which is just rich. And it's just fab.
Of course you will. What? Like, the more people try to negotiate for a better deal, the more time passes. And the closer we get to the deadline, like it's the default. Like he's arguing for the default position, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's basically saying time exists and it's moving.
Oh, burn! Bet you didn't see that coming. Time.
Because there's going to be a few legal appeals that will probably get looked at in the next few days, and if there's anything there's maybe a legal way of challenging it. But like, there's talk of rogue parliament being not as opposed to a prorogue. So prorogue is the opposite of rogue parliament.
Okay. Sure.
And it's like it's not even the full House of Commons, which is what Parliament basically is. It's like there's the Senate and the representatives in the US. Like Commons is like the voted for people, and then the House of Lords is the moneyed and landed individuals that have been picked for it by the Queen, basically.
Oh my God.
But that like all of this discussion about whether or not Parliament can do anything about it, that kind of doesn't even bring up in the Lords, which is always going to lean on Brexit and go for Brexit no matter what. It's just, like I said, it just feels so symbolic. All of the sort of resistance to this, and there was big protests actually yesterday, I think, in London, well across the country, but like it's not really big enough,
Yeah,
it's like a Dem rally. It's not going to trigger a general election or anything like that. Like I think the moment no deal Brexit passes, there will probably be a vote of no confidence, and then there will be a general election, but it doesn't look like it'll happen. Like the basically nobody's going to break party lines and vote against Boris Johnson until Brexit's out of the way, and then they can kind of stab whoever they want in the back.
Wow. Yeah. Very disheartening, I guess.
Jeremy Corbyn wants to request an extension to the Brexit deadline, which would be sort of a Parliament thing. I don't know how quickly that can really get. Like, I mean, there's probably time for it to be put through, but like that's just extending the time in which Boris Johnson gets to negotiate a deal, to my understanding, which is like, I don't want Boris Johnson's deal or no deal,
Right. There's also the option of vote of no confidence before then, right? But if it's before Brexit, you're saying like people aren't gonna vote. Nobody's gonna say, yeah, we don't like him. Yeah,
I mean, there's so many spineless worms in Parliament. There's just simply too many. There's loads in Labour, there's loads in the Lib Dems, there's loads in the Conservative Party, where, like, if their ass is on the line for joining the vote of no confidence and something goes wrong, they're not going to move. And there's also, like, the chief whip and stuff like that, who will be, you know, Boris Johnson's guy. So he, like, the way that the chief whip works in this country is just so ludicrous, in that, like, we got taught in school, a lot of it is like them digging up dirt basically on members of Parliament and holding that over them so that they vote within party lines and stuff like that.
Wow.
And it wasn't even that sort of scurrilous even then, like, and now it's just sort of a rolling snowball of kind of nepotism and the old boys club and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. The thing that I kept seeing in articles that I was reading about it was that they're saying, oh, Boris Johnson has a majority of 1. So he just needs, like, a vote of no confidence could happen. Like, he could get kicked out if, just one person switched over. But, like, doesn't seem like anybody's going to do anything that would be risky or make them seem like they were going out on a limb.
Well, no confidence as well would trigger a general election. And I can't imagine that. Just the way that the discourse has gone about Jeremy Corbyn, like, he's really scary to so many people that, like, to be honest, for a lot of them, no deal Brexit is probably infinitely preferable to Jeremy Corbyn as Prime Minister. And I can understand that because their asses are on the line. But they've all got wet asses, if you ask me.
Do you say they have wet asses?
That's right. They do.
Why are they wet?
Because they're sitting in their own piss in the House of Commons.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that we say that in America, too. It's, everybody's ass is so wet. So, now that we've established that Boris Johnson, bad man, would you like to roast his hair? Because I have prepared quite a few things about this man's hairstyle.
Okay, well, let's hear you out then.
Okay. First of all, Boris Johnson has a thinning bowl cut. He has a bowl cut, but he would look like a coconut head if he had more than 12 hairs on his head, but he doesn't. How are you going to be the PM of Britain and cut your own hair? John Edwards paid $400 for a haircut. Someone bet Boris Johnson 40 pounds he wouldn't go out in public like that with his hair like that. His hair looks like it's about to fall out from being bleached too many times, but you know it's natural because he has no eyebrows either. So, what the fuck? And even when it's combed, it looks bad. It looks like somebody was told to draw a villain named Boris and drew a big round-headed bald man, but was told he had to have hair, and so they didn't want to erase too much of the sketch, and they just drew hair on top of it. Why?
He does look like a Boris. He really looks like a Boris.
He looks like a Boris with a very thin blonde wig on. Why does his hair look like that?
He has a really bizarre frame as well. He's got like a rugby player frame, and it kind of looks like a really big sort of scary worm from Dune. That wasn't as good a roast as I kind of originally planned. He looks like the chairman of the. I want to get on to Michael Fabricant because he's also got ridiculous hair, and I can roast his hair. Michael Fabricant has the same hair as Boris Johnson, almost to a fault. And now I wonder who got the haircut first.
Yes. I've got it.
Michael Fabricant looks more like a comedy character that's been trying to play Boris Johnson, but looks nothing like Boris Johnson.
Yes! He looks like a person with really long hair trying to play Boris Johnson, so he needs to wear this, like, weird helmety wig. Have you ever seen the episode of Comedy Bang Bang where Amy Poehler is on and she's wearing a wig that looks like her own hair over her own hair? Yeah. That's what Michael Fabricant looks like.
Boris Johnson needs one of those to add more volume to his hair.
Yes, he does. He needs just the same amount of hair again on top of his head and he would look normal. I mean, like, maybe it's because I'm American and Donald Trump has too much hair somehow. But...
you've got a kind of an embarrassment of riches of president here to kind of mock and deride. We have to be pretty selective over here about the individual hairs. There's only so many to go around, and we really, it struggles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Embarrassment.
It looks like he's taken like a microwavable, some sort of microwavable pasta thing, and only used half in his hair, and then put the other half on his head.
He's got a portion control ass haircut. Embarrassment of riches is an incredibly apt term, just in general, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if I could... there's probably a good opportunity to draw your attention to... There's a Twitter account called Historical Figures with Football Manager here, and they're really nice. I just want you guys to, like, keep that on the back burner and go and look at that.
Yes.
So somebody told me the other day that Boris Johnson deliberately ruffles up his hair. So, I mean, it's all part of his boyish charm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he's deliberately ruffles up his hair before he goes out and does like a public speech, so that it looks like he's just arrived. And it's to make it. I mean, the whole state of it is meant for him to look like he's perennially late, and underneath he actually has a full head of ginger curly hair. Not a lot of people know that.
I did not know that. Yeah, and when you say he has boyish charm, you mean that he looks like a child that's been just content-aware scaled up to man size.
Yeah, and he looks like he's just been told off all the time, but he thinks it's funny. Which is actually basically the whole Boris Johnson thing, is like, if you're like confident and don't give a shit, it's funny, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like Boris Johnson's whole shtick.
It's like, you can just ruin everything, and as long as you like it, it's good. See? Yeah,
that kind of... Wow, that's like the real political ideology of Boris Johnson, actually.
Great.
Yeah.
Not a very complicated man. Why is the Queen allowed to do anything?
She's always been allowed to do anything. We've just sort of we've got an agreement with her. That's what it feels, or what it I think is sort of written in law, is like the Queen can kind of override anything at any time and do whatever she wants. But we're kind of cool. She's kind of cool. That's what they've been telling us our whole lives. She's cool. She won't do anything. She's just a figurehead. And when, the mandate of the people needs to not be delivered, that's when the Queen steps in and says, hey, Bor, go ahead and do whatever you want, and I'll pick up the kind of moral check.
Right.
Because she's got so much money. But, yeah, the Queen, like, this could have happened at any time, prior to Brexit. There was a request for the Queen to prevent the deadline where, we were definitely leaving the EU. There was like request to the Queen. The Queen looked down and whispered no. And now we've got Boris's Rorschach hairline. To deliver the mandate of the people, basically. It's absolutely great. Mm-hmm. Love the guy.
The Queen is there to make sure that there's enough rich person representation in the government.
Yeah, aside from all the people that she picks to be in the House of Lords, which is apparently not enough.
No. You can never have too.
And even then, there's like people in the House of Lords that are like, I just don't think this Brexit thing's such a good idea. And everyone's like clapping hands emojis on Twitter. See, old people can be politically active too.
Oh, yeah. Great. It's like when we have that here in like the Republican Party, like every once in a while, like Mitt Romney will be like, I don't like the way that Trump said that thing. And everyone's like, oh my God, woke bae, Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
He's not going to do anything.
Daddy Romney.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
You heard about video games?
I know about video games, sure. I dabble.
Have you heard so there's some things that happen in video game news. Some of them were bad and some of them were stupid bad. So what should we talk about first?
Sounds bad. Give me the good news first.
Oh, there isn't any. No. Just like stuff has come out in video game world that I just thought we should mention, and
sure.
We don't really have to go into it too much because I don't know super much about it. There's a few people who stepped up on Twitter and stepped forward, to talk about abuse that they have been survivors of at working video game developing companies. Mm-hmm. And it's extremely brave that they did that, and we're in support of them. But I didn't read enough articles about this to know anything else.
Let's see if
Breaking news, men in tech abuse their power.
Astonishing. I briefly saw the news break today, but I didn't follow it on. But there's been a significant amount of shitty stuff actually in video games today. Cyberpunk 2077 is racist as hell, and now everyone knows, which is cool. we were just waiting on the confirmation on that.
Right.
And it's come through.
Mm-hmm.
Confirmado. It's a racist game.
Pro Jared made a video talking about the things that Elf Wife said about him on Twitter, about him being horrible, and soliciting nudes from his young fans. And he was like, did I do that? Yes. But... And then a bunch of other stuff that doesn't matter.
Is this the 42-minute video called You've Been Lied To?
Probably. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it starring a person who looks like their life has been sucked out of their body by a ghost?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same video then.
That's great. That's great.
Retired.
The Pro Jared thing was absolutely incredible, and I was speaking to someone about it, and I was like, oh no, it was somebody had mentioned to me, oh, have you seen like the YouTube drama? And I was like, weirdly, I have, because I don't really know any YouTubers, to be honest. And I was like, yeah, I've seen all this Pro Jared stuff, and she was like, no, there's a separate YouTube drama going on, and it was some like bigger, higher up the what do you call the pyramid hierarchy of needs for YouTube.
Was it the James Charles Tati thing?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, amazing. That's funny because the James Charles one is kind of, like, some of it is drama, like Tati being like, I'm done with him because he sold other people's hair vitamins instead of mine. What the heck? But he also did, like, she also brought up stuff about him, like, being really, like, manipulative and, like, potentially, like, being, abusive or, coercive with people.
Yeah.
But then the other, like, drama is, like, just genuine, like, criminal activity, basically, and, like...
Yeah, which it probably happens, like, more in the smaller YouTube side of things, because there's not, like, this, like, your only monetization is from YouTube, so you kind of... I don't know, the communities are smaller, and, like, there's not... It doesn't, like, spill over into other platforms where, like, I don't know, genuinely, like, criminal behavior doesn't really fly. Like, maybe that's not quite true, sort of given all of the stuff way up and the Epstein stuff. But like, yeah.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's like you want to separate the fans from the creator for the fans' sake, and at a certain, like, you also want to do it for the creator's sake. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like, oh, this YouTube personality, like, don't think that they're your friend because, they need their privacy and they'd be able to be a person. But also, like, don't think that they're your friend because they have power over you. Like, like, they can... Anyway.
Yeah. And there's been kind of the discussion about, it kind of feels like there's more of a discussion about why people aren't talking about politics on Twitch. And there was, this is kind of a tangent, but like, in terms of the way people sort of relate with their, inverted commas, subscribers, like, or their fan communities, like, there's a real kind of abdication of duty in terms of, like, protecting people. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about politics, I want everyone to feel safe on my channel. But if you're welcoming it, like, harmful ideologies and not calling that out, then you're kind of not including everyone.
Yeah.
And, like, that's not hard to, state really clearly on. And obviously, like, people do it because they need money, but it's their income.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, it's a ill-gotten income if you are doing it over the head of not talking about politics. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like the whole, like, oh, so much for the tolerant left argument of, like, you have to be intolerant of intolerant.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex was going to be on the episode. She had to dip, but she wanted to have a shout out to the game Shovel Knight. You can put in pronouns. They have a they/them option. So that's some good news.
Oh, nice.
Yes. All right. So, my brain just died. Just clocked out for the day. All right.
Did you do your left values quiz?
Sorry, you cut out.
Oh, did you do the left values quiz that somebody put in the politics channel?
A quiz?
Yeah. I'll send you the copyright result. Oh, that's my results. Whoops. Don't look. 2 seconds. There you go.
All right. Let's see. Question 1 of 48.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that long. That's crazy.
That is too long. All right. Here's another thing that Alex was going to tell us about, but now I will. Space crime. The first space crime. has potentially been committed.
Murder most foul.
No.
Oh.
It's bank fraud, I believe, most foul. So, first crime in space has been committed. We're still waiting on the first interesting crime in space to be committed. But
in space, no one can hear you rat.
This was let's see. Astronaut Anne McClain accused of identity theft and improperly accessing her estranged wife's private financial records while on the ISS. So, representation. it's two women in a couple, so impossible to say whether this space crime is good or bad.
Honestly, pretty good.
Good for her.
I typed in space fraud super quick into my search engine to just pull up an article about it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm in flat Earth internet now. I'm in flat Earth territory now. So I'm going to try and find it. But yeah, I mean, it's better than space larceny, you know? Or, well, I looked up space crime and now I've got Space Crime Domino, a sci-fi novel.
Oh. Actually, I'm kind of intrigued by space larceny. Actually, because I'm kind of thinking of, like, grand larceny? And you're trying to steal, like, part of a rocket ship or something? Like, how would you do that? Like, you just grab it, and then you just sort of, like, push yourself off, and you're, like, floating in space. It's like, I'm gonna get home with this!
And you've got getaway car.
Getaway pod?
Sure. Or maybe, well, you can't go back to Earth if you've committed grand larceny in space, right? So it's got to be a... That's true. Is she still up in space?
I don't know. I don't know that.
If news hasn't broke, she's in for a surprise when she gets home.
I think she has, so it was on the space station, so I think they get, the newspaper there or whatever. I think because she's spoken out about, like, she denies that is what happened. She refuted it.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if she's back. Is there a space jail? She probably just has to pay a space fine and out of it.
Yeah. Space is like international waters. Like, they can't arrest her up there. They can't send cops up there.
No, definitely can't. Or they shouldn't. I don't know. What if this opens the floodgates and now space crime is a big issue? Space cops.
Yeah, there's like a plainclothes officer on every flight into space. Just trying to blend in.
Yeah. I bet cops on the International Space Station would be like mall cops, though. Like they have such a small little area.
It would finally make, like, the Segway thing kind of look more normal.
Right. Even though, isn't there gravity?
No, there's none.
Why do I think of the International Space Station as mall? I'm picturing it in my mind, and it's like a big circle, and there's regular gravity, and you wear regular clothes. It's all perfect. The atmosphere.
That is what it is.
It is.
Yeah. I can confirm that today. That is what the ISS is like.
Is there a pretzel stand? There's
like it's unstaffed like half the year, and then around Christmas time they start putting the cinnamon smell around the ISS. And
when the kids
kind of pulling the punters,
they're hanging around the space station.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
they have to get put in a centrifuge before they go back to school, of course. Or do they? Or is it the other way around? Do you need to get put in a centrifuge before you go into space?
I don't think that you actually... What?
Is that a novels thing?
No,
maybe that's a novels thing.
I think the centrifuge thing is to simulate what it'll feel like to do in a rocket. So it's not like you got to get spun around to be sterilized and go in there.
Or your body goes all loopy.
No, I think you have to go in a centrifuge in the sense that you have to be trained to go to space.
Yeah.
But
it's part of your workout.
It's not like getting a malaria vaccine. Like,
now you won't get all loopy in space.
There we go. All right. Did you hear about the kids on TikTok? End of question. No. Organizing a general strike.
Yeah. So, the general strike would be huge. I think, like, there would be no arguing with a general strike. I think it's the one thing that there would be no arguing with. But because so much of the discourse is feels like it's coming from like just Twitter bots and stuff like that. I mean, you can always kind of dismiss it as that and ignore the fact that there like really is a strong right wing sort of voter base currently in the UK.
Oh, we're talking about two different things.
Oh, there's a general strike on TikTok?
Sort of. The teens on TikTok are organizing a general strike to walk out of school in September.
Oh, in the US?
In the US.
Right, okay.
Are the teens on TikTok organizing a general strike in the UK?
Maybe that's where it's coming from.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Are the Fortnite dances called the same thing in the UK, or is it different?
Well, it's the floss. I think so. I think they must be. I don't know many of them. I only really know the floss. If you're asking me if I know how to dance them, I know the floss. Well, I can do the floss.
I mean, it's an audio medium, so you could say whatever you want, and I have to...
I am currently flossing.
Me too. I've been flossing the whole time. No, fun fact about me, though, I do, in the last, couple episodes that I've been on, I have dabbed, a lot of times, and I know that I'm doing it. Nobody else knows, and I don't say anything. I'm not I'm currently dabbing, but it's a very futile gesture.
It's important to know that at any time you could be dabbing, and it's part of the medium, part of the beauty of the medium is that people can, extrapolate your dabs.
Extrapolate. No, that's not extabulate.
High schoolers use TikTok in a powerful way.
Teen on TikTok in Nevada was saying, we gotta organize a walkout in school to support our teachers in our county because it's really unfair what's happening. So I think they were being denied a raise that had been promised. And then other kids, the video went kind of viral, and other kids are organizing that at their schools also. Mm-hmm. Possibly.
Just in Nevada or across the country?
I think it's across the country. I know that the one in the county that she was talking about is picking up a lot of steam. Mm-hmm. And is potentially going to be pretty substantial. So
teachers spent the past 3 years earning enough credit out of their own pockets, spending extra hours outside of school to earn credits to get a raise is the reason that the teachers are striking. I mean, everyone in power hates education so much, a lot, way too much. I think it's a bit of a blessing and a curse, social media, in the respect that it's completely ruined information structures. It's completely dashed them against the rocks. Mm-hmm.
Did you remember to post that picture on Instagram so that Instagram didn't steal all your...
Yeah, I did. I posted it 6 times.
Yeah.
I think it deleted all my followers, though. Yeah, my Instagram account's ruined, but I mean, Instagram don't save any of my pics anymore.
Yeah. Me neither.
It's good. But it's kind of weird that how involved people can be. This is a weird example of sort of what happened around the Arab Spring, and everyone went a bit overboard with, social media was such a big part of it, which it was, but I think that had been obvious if you'd been following the technology anyway. Mm-hmm. But the past few years, it's kind of been really forgettable and horrible stuff that's happened because of Twitter and because of YouTube and because of Facebook and Instagram and basically everything.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be TikTok that would do the chaotic good move.
Yeah. I mean, because TikTok is full of teens, so 99% of it is horrible. But I mean, not malicious, just why is this happening? But my friend texted me a TikTok. They're on TikTok hardcore for some reason. They texted me a TikTok once. This girl in her car, and she puts the camera up to the windshield, and you see that it's raining, and then it pans back over to her face, and she goes, "It's raining," and that's the whole TikTok. And I was
that's great.
I was why did you send this to me? And they're it's raining.
Can you send that to me? I feel like I could get a lot of use out of that over here.
Yes, I will.
I can send that to someone every day for the next 3 to 6 months. And have good reason for it. Well, it is raining.
It is. It's raining. Speaking of teens doing cool things, Greta Thunberg, the climate change activist child, she was in she's at a UN climate summit in New York right now, and she arrived on Wednesday via boat. So
legend. She
sailed there instead of taking a plane. Yeah. And it's a 0 carbon emissions sailing boat.
Wow.
Guess how long it took to go from Britain to New York?
Damn. 8 weeks?
Okay, no. Our technology has advanced since boats were invented. 15 days, though.
15 days?
15
Damn.
days.
Well, way preferable to 8 weeks.
Yes. It would be like a 6-hour plane ride, but 0 carbon emissions. And
that's great.
The little boating outfit she was wearing, it wasn't like a little boating outfit. It was like a outfit for being in the harsh conditions of a boat.
It's like a cool like overall.
It was like a racing outfit, but for boats.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I've got it here.
Kind of ironic that she hates global warming, and yet her fit is so hot.
What's that about?
Yes.
Greta, we need the receipts. There was a thing where a British MP came out and was like, "Oh, it's pretty ironic that the 1975 are flying around the world for their world tour, and yet they hate climate change." Because the lead singer had posed with Greta, and the band's manager just replied with, he just wants like his 15 minutes of fame, which is. Sometimes that's not a good, like, withering response, but in that case, I think it was like the perfect use of that. Like, incredible. Although I would really like for the 1975 to put their money where their mouth is and start using a boat so that they spend a longer part of the time of the year in the sea, which is where they belong.
All of them crammed into one little boat. It's not bigger because there are more of them. Yeah. There's,
pretty disruptive Extinction Rebellion protests in Manchester today as well.
Oh.
They blocked Deansgate, which is like a big sort of, I think it's like a shopping centre mall type thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like the ISS.
And that's because the Manchester airport has announced like massive expansions, which is super. We love that.
Yeah.
But like Extinction Rebellion haven't sort of just appeared and then gone away, which is what seems to have happened with so many of the, like, you know, public, or not public, but like sort of rising protest groups. Like, it feels like there's been nothing like that from the Follow Back Pro EU crew, you know, who are really, really committed to burning Boris's hair on Twitter, but aren't prepared to walk the walk as well.
Wait, I'm just putting this together. Is it Follow Back Pro EU because you're supposed to follow the other people who use that hashtag on Twitter with your Twitter account?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you follow back if you're pro EU.
That's praxis.
It truly is.
So just all of Scotland follows each other now, I guess?
Well, no, it's more of like a disgusting, weird English people thing. Sorry to English people. No, FPP is more. I think there's a lot of people in Scotland who are kind of the sort of centrist Remainers, as they're known. But there's a better. I think in Scotland there's a slightly kind of better appetite for really affecting it in a different way. Like there's quite a lot of, you know, street rallies and stuff for independence and things like that. And I think people here are a little bit more like less on Twitter, I guess, less online.
Right.
Some people stay logged off here, up here in Scotland. Whereas, like, I feel like the Follow Back Pro EU is like someone in Surrey, someone in like suburban England who only has time to sort of watch satire shows and stuff like that.
I've never understood the British knowing towns, their cultures, because like America is like 10 times larger than Great Britain.
Yeah.
So like we can't be like, yeah, that's such a friggin' Brookline thing to say and have somebody in like Connecticut know what you're talking about, like, at all.
Yeah.
I feel like I watch so many I used to watch a lot of like British panel shows because I was on YouTube a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
And they were always like, oh, and the something road down in Dunshire, haha. And everyone's like, haha, yeah, they are like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Got 'em. Like, how? What? But
I think, to be honest, like the kind of regional stereotypes are about as like fleshed out and accurate as the ones in the US. Like people from Manchester probably have a bit of a Boston reputation, and that's all people know them for and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they're never panel shows are so bad for that. They're like, oh yes, and then the Darlington mayor went absolutely mad for that, and then everyone goes mad. It's usually someone like Boris Johnson that's hosting those kind of shows as well.
All right. So I've got two more things here. They're both about liars. So first liar is Bernie Sanders made a claim recently that the Washington Post gave him 3 Pinocchios for. And 4 Pinocchios is like, it's like ballyhoo or something. Like, it's absolute balderdash. Complete.
Yeah.
No one is, it's
Poppycock.
Poppycock, yes. He got 3 Pinocchios because he said that 500,000 people in America a year go bankrupt because of healthcare costs.
500,000?
500,000.
Okay.
A year. How many people in Britain go broke from healthcare costs? Just wondering.
Almost none, I think. Pretty much almost none. Yeah. Pretty much nobody.
So, like, not 500,000?
Not kind of. No, slightly, drastically less, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, drastically less than that for sure.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I don't. There's no way to know why that is. So he said this, and it was based on a study that had been done about bankruptcies and their causes. The study said 530,000 people go bankrupt every year in America with citing healthcare costs as the reason.
Oh, he's really biffed the numbers there.
So totally really playing fast and loose with the numbers. No, but so the actual, like, the Washington Post thing said, like, oh, well, you know, this study is in a journal that's not as peer-reviewed as some other journals are. So 3 Pinocchios.
So it's a lie.
It's a lie. He accurately represented a study, but study is not perfect. So get fucked.
So there's no way to know for sure.
There's no way to know for sure, but we should definitely have the headline say that it's a lie and that he lied. And
there's no way to know for sure, but Bernie was lying when he said 500,000 people.
He was lying, and he did it on purpose, and I don't know why he didn't intensely review the journal that the study was in that he was citing.
God, what a crooked guy to say that. What a heartless thing to do.
Just, 3 Pinocchios. Meanwhile, 4 Pinocchios is like China invented global warming. Like,
so Bernie Sanders' scurrilous statement that 500,000 people couldn't be further from the truth.
It could be, but only barely.
Imagine he got the numbers wrong by 600 soccer fields worth of Americans. That's the numbers we're talking about. Those are the lies that he's creating.
I don't understand what that means at all, and I do love it, and I do appreciate that you said soccer.
That just came off the cuff as well. That was just because I was in company.
You were so in character.
Incredible.
Amazing.
Incredible professionalism from the Scot.
I thought your name was Matt.
It's Scott Matt.
Oh, Scott Matt.
Actually.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, it's Penis Johnson.
Right. And so now another story about an actual liar. I don't know how to pronounce this man's last name.
How many Pinocchios?
You know what? I personally will give him 10 out of 4.
10 out of 4? Okay.
But I don't know. Washington Post did not evaluate this one. Or if they did, I didn't read it. Andy, no? The guy who got hit with a milkshake and was like, I think I have permanent brain damage. You know this? You know what I'm talking about? I don't
know this guy, actually. So, I know Nigel Farage here in the UK got hit by a milkshake and it was pretty incredible.
Well, so Mr. Nigel Farage is a politician. Andy is just a person. He's a journalist. And he was at I believe the story is that he was in
yes. Yeah.
He went to some kind of protest or something, and he got a milkshake thrown at him, and every time he told the story, the milkshake, got more rocks in it, and the person throwing it was, 10 feet taller or whatever, and
Yeah.
He tweeted and then
deleted. And then there was acid in the milkshake.
Right. He tweeted and deleted that, he dropped a bowl of melon or something that he had been holding because he's like, I can't help but imagine that I have brain damage because of this attack.
Because of all the milk.
Right. But he was I think one of the first people to start the whole Antifa are putting cement in the milkshakes. That's why they're so deadly. That whole thing.
Of course. Okay, yeah.
Because a cup of sugar will completely neutralize a ton of concrete, making it completely unviable. But if you put some in a milkshake, it's different and works.
It turns into that stuff. It turns into the quick Acme concrete from cartoons.
Exactly.
And we have proven it using facts and logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't fact check us, because we already did it. We already did the fact check, and it's true. A video came out recently, like in the past couple days, I believe. A video surfaced that showed him laughing and smiling along with Patriot Prayer, which is a far-right group, who named themselves after two words that I love to hear, and definitely does not activate my fight or flight response.
Yeah.
And he's laughing and smiling along with them as they are kind of planning their and psyching themselves up for before they went to attack a leftist bar. And they were literally like a group of the article I read said like a group of anti-fascists in a leftist bar, which I don't know what a leftist bar is.
Yeah, I've never been able to find a leftist bar,
but I would like to go there.
Yeah,
sounds good. But they descended on this bar and like actually were violent, and one of the bar goers was unconscious and like had to go to the hospital. And Andy tweeted the next day like, these people at this bar didn't seem like they were there to have fun. It seemed like they were there to prepare an attack of some kind. Like a lot of just like, maybe Antifa are evil and nothing they do is what it looks like.
Yeah.
He did not tweet anything about how Patriot Prayer guys were like, we have weapons!
Jesus.
Yeah. So he's a liar.
Yep. I'm seeing the inverted commas damning video purporting to show me conspiring in a violent attack is the latest in a string of lies designed to intimidate me into silence since the brain injury in June failed to do the job. Like Antifa are like a paramilitary, like IRA, like
oh god,
organized crime organization. It's like a
yeah. That's why they use silly string, is because they want to kill people. Silly string famously is known for being dangerous.
Silly string, also known as Semtex, liquid explosive.
Yeah.
Antifa has been using it for years to intimidate patriots.
Mm-hmm. Just normal people going about their days, just holding their hammers for no reason.
I suppose Twitter needs to pour all of their like resources into someone other than Alex Jones, though. So it does make sense that someone like him would be the poster boy for this sort of atrocious behavior.
Right. Yeah. So it's just another video of proof that he's doing exactly the thing that people always thought that he was doing. And
have been saying he was doing.
It's pretty clear that he's been doing. Yes.
Yeah.
Lastly, have you heard about this new app called Jeremy Renner?
Yes. I've heard about it. There's word on the street. Mm-hmm. It's out there.
It's out there.
It's viral.
I have a question. Do you think Jeremy Renner has heard of the app?
Okay, well, I really believe that Jeremy Renner was in charge of the app this whole time.
I mean, he's a Renaissance man. He's an actor.
Is there any chance that he is, or have I kind of just let me believe myself? I don't know why I said it like that, but let you believe myself.
Well, you'll never believe myself. I can't believe it's not butter. There are a lot of Jeremy Renners on the Jeremy Renner app. And there are also like a lot of other people who pretend to be like famous murderers and stuff.
Right.
So, it's fine. It's a good app and it's normal. Happy Wren's Day, everyone.
Happy Wren's Day. It's Wren's Day, my dudes.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. Jeremy Renner makes music that I have heard with my human ears, and it's good, and everyone wants it from. So
I'm sure I saw, and it feels like it's lost in the recesses of my mind. But a couple of days ago, I think I saw an advert on Twitch for Jeremy Renner's car, maybe. Yeah, I was watching
Jeep commercial.
I was watching a US stream of football, and there was a Jeremy Renner advert for a brand of car. He was like the brand ambassador for, I want to say, let's just Dodge. Jeep. I'm going to say Dodge.
You can say Dodge, but it's Jeep. I'm pretty sure.
It's Jeep. I think it's Jeep. And then in the top, it has like the music video thing where it says Jeremy Renner, and then whatever the song was. And I was like, not long after first reading about the Jeremy Renner app, I was like really struggling to understand what part of my life Jeremy Renner was not spilling into.
You wake up in the middle of the night. I had another dream about him.
Well, that's nothing new. That's always been there.
Oh, yeah.
Long before Jeremy's film career, I knew that he was the selected one.
All right. I have no follow-up questions. So that's podcast. That's podcast.
That's her?
So what we do at the end is Lightbringers. So things in the past little while that have made us feel good and happy as opposed to the news, for example.
Cool.
So mine, I forgot to find one.
Should I go for one? Should I just say mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to stay with my mum this week. She has just moved into a new house with her 2 dogs, and I got to spend the evening with them, and it was super, super cute. Ruby, the older dog's pregnant, and she's like really, really huffy and grumpy, and it's adorable. But I was like sitting in the living room watching TV, and Murphy, the younger dog, who's like super nervous, was getting really wound up that I wasn't in the kitchen with my mum. So I went through, and he completely calmed down. He stopped fussing, and he stopped making a noise, and he just wanted me and my mum to be together, and I thought that was like super duper sweet. And I actually just sat and had a really nice conversation with her and had her tea. It was great. That
is wonderful. Well, I'm changing my Lightbringer. I was trying to think of one. Mine is that story. Because that's adorable. Dogs are so good. My friend's dog she either hates you or loves you, and I recently switched from being hated to being loved by her, and it's incredible. She's a dog the size of an American football, and demands to be pet or not to be pet, depending on...
Or not pet.
Yeah. She's like, you have to pet me! Oh my god, why are you petting me?
You really have to work hard for the love of a small dog. You really do.
She's also, she's very old as a rescue, so...
Oh, that's like drawing the sword from the stone, isn't it? Getting that kind of dog love.
Yes. All right. So, what is your Twitter? Who are you? Where can we find you?
My Twitter is Matt L. Steven with a PH. I'm on Twitter. I'm also on PlayStation Network. And on Letterboxd. I think I'm Matt LS with 1 T on that. That's all I really use.
Okay. I am Val Flight Cub on Twitter, but there's 2 B's. Flight Cub. First of all, I want to say, Matt, thank you so much for guesting. It was very much.
Thank you. I had the time of my life.
I have that song stuck in my head now. Thanks.
Anytime.
I also want to say thank you to the Taxpayers for the use of their song "Evil Men" off the album "Cold Hearted Town," which is our intro song. We are Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die. We are on your favorite podcatcher, which is convenient since we are your favorite podcast. Henry Kissinger's Pokemon Going to Die is a proud member of Noisespace.xyz, a podcast network with some great podcasts on it, such as City Girls Make Do and Jurgen It and other podcasts. If you'd like to find us, we are HKIPGTD on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and we are on Patreon at patreon.com/HKIPGTD. For $1, you get any access to $1 a month, you get access to any of our bonus material, such as pre-show, post-shows, extended Lightbringers, and any cut for time segments. We have a recent one about EVO 2019 with Alex Leaf Crunch and Sarah Sanhajania. For $5 a month, you get a very special role of Comrade in the Discord and a shout out on the podcast. And for $10 a month, you get an even specialer role of Conrad, which allows you to listen live as we record the podcast, as at least one person doing now. So, as I said, our podcasts, our Patreoners is what I meant to say. Thank you very much. to Roan the Other V. Berg, Burgermeister, Stephanie Ruff, Pregnant Seinfeld, David Besser, Alex Schaup, Six Armed Sweater, Bryce, A Sexual Fish Tank, Ashinu, Alex Hoot, Dickbutt is the Real Jesus, Maximilian Rower, Tuffster McGee, Kangaria, Bryant, Mogu, Nick Clarkson, Kadeho, Florian Siegel, Destry Hawk, PR The Disaster, The Tallest Jew, Michael Weems, Non-Binary with Left Beef, Summergeist, Dijonais, Chaz Goblin, Paul Blart Fleshcart, Oleanders, and Ellen, the Narco-Lolandis. Thank you very much for your patronage. And as we always say, Memento Pokemore.
Memento? Do I have to say it back?
You don't have to say it. No. I mean, if you
I'll say it to myself.
If you want
later.
to.
I'll say it to myself later.
Oh, okay.